My garden to me is my relaxation, my exercise, my entertaining space, the classroom for my children, the play area for my children. There's so many things that you use your garden for. It's a fantastic space to have. And it's very calming. It's so relaxing. Even some of the heavy work, you know, it's a satisfying thing to actually go out and do a day's gardening. It really does help both physically and mentally to have space around you that's green. If you've only just started gardening, then I know it can be a bit of a minefield. One of the major things that people ask me is how much and how often do I need to water my plants? And that's an incredibly difficult answer to give. Planting at the right time can make a big difference. So if you try and plant something in the middle of a heat wave, in the middle of summer, you're going to be out there watering all the time. What a lot of people really don't realise about plants is that they will change the amount of water that they use. So if they've got lots of water available to them, they will use it. If the resources start to reduce a little bit, so if you've let the soil dry out a little bit, the plants actually adapt to the lower soil moisture levels. If we want to talk about using slightly less water but still achieving the same wonderful garden that you want, then it's about watering at the right time of the day. So in the mornings is usually better than in the evenings. It's about understanding your soil and knowing how deeply you need to water so that the water gets directly to the roots. My garden is south facing, so it's really hard to keep water here at all. So your soil is one of the best places to store your water. Once you've got it in your soil, you really want it to stay there. And so what I use is mulch, wood chip with a really large particle size so that when it does rain, the water will run straight through the mulch and down to the soil, to the roots of your plants. If you've planted this year and you're trying to get plants to establish, and they might be annuals, I think there's an awful lot of planting choice that you can do to make your life easier. Annuals are beautiful, you know, you can get some really great colour in your garden, but you have to be prepared to do all of that watering to keep everything going. The veg that you see here has all been planted from seed this year, so this is annual veg, but I've had to water that like crazy in the spring to keep it all growing. Once it's got its roots into this deep bed of soil, it's been absolutely fine. We've had a few showers of rain and I haven't watered it at all. If you're really finding the watering a real chore with a veg plot, one thing you can do is swap to perennial veg instead. So instead of growing things from seed every year, you can switch to things like soft fruit, black currants, raspberries. They're great. They stay in the ground all year round. They've got deep roots and so they tend to need less water until it comes to when they're fruiting, and then you want to put a little bit more water on to get the fruit as well. Another option is look at some more fruit trees. I've got pear trees and apple trees. Again, we're producing food for ourselves. It's fantastic to have fresh picked food for the children from the garden with a minimal amount of watering. So it's all about soil and choosing the right plants, even if you want to produce food. Another great thing that you can do is to get yourself a water butt. I know not everybody's got space for one or might not think that they've got space for one, but there are ways that you can install a water butt, even a slim one, in one place and get that water to move to another area of the garden. You can hide them around all over the place. I've actually got 11 water butts dotted around my garden in all sorts of places. This one is collecting water from the roof, from my downpipe, using one of these rainwater diverter kits. The only other thing to remember is that if you're going to use a tap, to have it high enough off the ground that you can fit a watering can underneath. That means carrying perhaps a watering can around, and I know not everybody wants to do that either. So there's another way that you can do this. Just a really simple piece of garden hose with a sprinkler attachment on the end. So I'm going to make sure that that's open so that the air can come in to this pipe, and put this end right to the very bottom of the water butt so that the water is filling up the tube and the air is coming out of this end. And then once it's completely full of water, close off the end to stop the water coming out. And then what I can do is take that to wherever I need to water my plants, and as long as this sprinkler head is lower than the level of the water in the water butt, then the water will flow. And you could take that way down the garden and still water your plants from your water butt. So it's better for your plants, it's better for the planet, and you know, you don't have to carry that watering can around. Water's a really precious resource, and we're all very familiar with saving carbon and carbon emissions, but actually with the way climate change is affecting us, we're seeing much drier spells of weather followed by much wetter spells of weather. So what we need to do is manage those water resources in our garden better. We need to capture the water in our soils better, and we need to capture rainfall so that we can save it for when there are those dry spells. We're going to have to put up with warmer summers, wetter winters, and in many ways that's going to be great for the gardenings, because you know, warmer weather means that our plants are going to grow better, we're going to enjoy our gardens even more, but we've got to be responsible in the amount of water that we need to use to maintain them.